My garbage person is on here, I think for good reason, which I'm gonna lay out. But I also want you to keep this guy, Tom Homan, on your radar because he's gonna be in charge of the border for Donald Trump. And he hasn't made as many crazy statements as some of the other people Trump has put forward. But there's every reason to believe that he's going to do as much harm as maybe every other two of them combined. Because he came out and he's had this whirlwind over the last few days of statements about the border and what's gonna happen there, and it's all terrible. So first of all, he told a reporter on News Nation that there's no price tag for the mass deportations because it's a national security concern. Now, he doesn't mean that literally. There is a price tag and it's like $100 billion every year. But since that price tag is so high, I understand why he'd want you to ahead of time not pay attention to it. And just bear in mind, they're gonna spend $100 billion shipping millions of people out of this country and doing tons of societal as well as economic harm to communities across America. You could give every kid in America free college and have money left over for the same price. Like that is the sort of choice that we as a society make. You can have 4 years free public college. It was estimated to be $80 billion years ago, or you could just ship a bunch of people out, wreck families, wreck communities, wreck churches, all that stuff. On top of that, he confirmed they're gonna be building concentration camps at the border. He obviously didn't call it that for obvious reasons, but that's just what they are. He said they're gonna build soft-sided tent structures to house parents with their children. I guess the fact that the tent structures are soft is supposed to make it less reprehensible. But most importantly, he said the government will not hesitate to deport parents who are in the country illegally, even if they have young US born children. They could be a year old potentially. He said he would leave it to those families to decide whether to exit together or be split up, saying, you knew you were in the country illegally and chose to have a child, so you put your family in that position. Again, these young children are US citizens. And he thinks, well, you guys messed up. Now, maybe we'll just deport a bunch of US citizens, 1 to 5-year-old US citizens, which is horrible. Or I guess we'll just leave the kids there. And that will be some massive societal problem that we're gonna have to figure out how to fix. I mean, just all of this is garbage. All of this is completely lacking in any consideration of the human cost of doing this, let alone the economic cost and all that, Brett. But I just want to remind everyone as we cruise towards Inauguration Day, like this is gonna be one of the focuses. They are gonna try to spool this up as fast as they can. It's not that far off.
Yeah, I like that. It's like we see the way he's describing how he's going to set these people up sounds like John Hammond in Jurassic Park. He's like, spare no expense.
That's a little.
Oh yes, we've got him. We spare no expense. Yeah, it's more like Tom Inhuman because he's inhuman, and those are the jokes I came up with while you were talking.
Thank you. You should give
I
those
just think it's like.
year.
And after he deported every person that he could and built all the soft tent structures that he could and basically de facto orphanized every dreamer that he could, he wept because the problems that were plaguing the economy remained and there were no more brown people left to conquer. That's what it is. There's no more people left to deport, and he didn't solve any of the problems that he said he would. That's what's so sad. And as you explained, there were a lot better ways to invest Americans' cold hard cash.
Yeah, and let alone to tie it back to the story we were talking about earlier about MAGA, hoping that Trump will actually get prices down. Like this is going to increase prices. This is going to cause problems for companies. This is going to it's not just that it costs a lot of money to get rid of these people. Getting rid of these people comes with a cost.
Yeah, that's a loser argument though.
Sure, maybe it's a loser argument. It's also true. I feel it's important to acknowledge that which is true.
Right.
That your life will be made worse by getting rid of these people you've been trained to hate.
Yeah,
you will pay higher prices.
Yeah, I get it, but I just don't think that's convenient to a lot of people. So they'll give you it doesn't look like anything to me, or so you're on their side, huh? And you're just making up this mythical idea that it's gonna raise prices. And you're justifying opening the border and making it a free land grab for anyone who wants to come here and do stuff. That's the problem with that argument. I don't have a better one. I'm just saying, like, that's follow it through to its most logical conclusion.
Well, let me just also remind everyone as we close out the year, if you look at this is Southwest border apprehensions by month. It's not quite down to the level of January 2020, but it's basically down to the level of January 2020 before the pandemic began.
Yeah, the problem with it, the clear thing is like, most people want to fix the immigration issue. Like, most people are like, yeah, I don't need an open border. I mean, whether there's an open border or not, you ask them questions like that, and they go like, yeah, I don't know, I don't need to, we don't need immigrants. They're just gonna say, like, most people are like, I have a hard enough time. Why do I care about people that are trying to get here? I feel like I don't want more competition. Like, that's the default setting of most people. And then you appeal to the humanity to offset that, but just on a straight up, like, doors closed to the voting booth, what are they gonna do? Most people are like, I really don't care about immigrants. That's the problem. And it's a luxury, by and large, it's like a basic lib luxury position to take to try to make the lives of immigrants better. That's the origin of the argument that people on the left are elitist. It's warped, it's messed up, but it is true that when you are advocating, like, most people who are able to advocate for a lot of this stuff have the luxury to do so. That's Brett, where the rubber meets the road in these rhetorical.
I'm not going to say that there was nothing of that in what I was saying, but I would also argue I'm doing, I think, the opposite of that. I'm not appealing to people to just have human rights concerns. I'm literally trying to get them to understand the financial impact on their own lives. That these people are not coming in to directly compete with them for their exact job, and getting rid of them makes the things they buy, consumer products, food, more expensive. It is not some high-minded, abstract literary argument. It's literally the economic fundamentals of their life will become more difficult on a day-to-day basis if this plan is carried out. Yeah, and I don't think that's an argument that's often made. I think maybe we should try it. Anyway, we can't adjudicate all this right now.
That is the argument from liberals, and has been.
I don't know if that's. It
gets turned into the same thing as, like, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, like it turns into that.
In any event, Brett, we can't adjudicate the entirety of this abstract argument about rhetoric right now. So we will get back to it at some point. For now, 39,000 of you voted for the garbage person of the week, and coming in at number 4 with 4% of the vote is Valentina Gomez for posting a mock migrant execution video, to tie back to what we were just talking about. At 9%, and number 3 is HBO for dropping Sesame Street. Kind of wish that had gotten a little bit more support. That's depressing. Number 2 at 26% is Matt Gaetz for what was revealed in the ethics report, but no, 61% Donald Trump for celebrating murder on Christmas Eve.
So bad.
That was fun. Thanks, Trump. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?